Alright, so thanks so much for tuning into my little corner of YouTube here. It's not mine. The standard non-duality sort of responses and statements. One thing that kind of hit me hard was one fellow emailed me and he was talking about how there are certain implications around this stuff. It's almost like people overstep their boundaries when talking about or pointing to what we are and make maybe implications about what that should mean in a person's day-to-day life and all that sort of stuff. Like there's certain requirements that need to happen or certain statements that we can make in a concrete way about what it means to see this or not see this or whatever. But no, that's really not the point. There's only one thing happening, which is just pointing directly to this presence. And everything else is kind of irrelevant in a way. Any suggestions and all that stuff about how to, a how-to manual of living for dummies, or the end of seeking for idiots, the complete idiot's guide to non-duality. See, all that kind of stuff, it's just not, in a way, relevant. We could turn this into a big religion or have a big fiasco about all this stuff. But the real point is just to point to what we are directly and leave the waters unmuddled, don't muddle the mixture. Just see directly what we are. And then who cares? Who knows how we should live life or whatever. It's not like there's anything separate doing the living. That's the whole seeing, is that it's only one life happening anyway. So that's why we don't want to turn this into any kind of doctrine or religion. It's just a simple pointing from oneness to oneness. It's not even, there's no separation to speak of. It's not like oneness here and oneness there. In the appearance only. So that's all it is. Like, if someone goes to their job, they use a certain type of language and a certain set of structures that seem to be effective. So that's what this sort of is. It's just trying to use language in the most effective way to point to something that's unlanguageable and real. And then that's it, you point, you shoot. Or if it's like washing your hair, lather, rinse, repeat, if necessary. And then that's it. The issue is, it's clean. And there's no need for any more. There's no need for more of this. It's not like we have to go in for a checkup or something and make sure that what we see is here again, or it's still here, or that it's no need of improvement. What we are can't get sick or be defective or require some guy with a sweater talking about it. What we are doesn't need this stuff. That's the whole point. But as soon as that notion of a seeker arises, it's sort of, oh, there's this notion of seeking, and it starts churning around like the whole hamster wheel analogy. And then that's what these sorts of pointings can be helpful at dismantling in a way, and pointing to what's behind all that movement, the space in which all that stuff happens. And also to expose why are we doing all this practicing if we don't see who we are, or whatever, or looking on YouTube, or not practicing. All the tricks that we pull up, all the aces in our sleeves about seeking, we don't need any of them. We can just see what we are right now and drop the whole game. But if a person isn't ready to hear that, then the mind will of course interpret that in all sorts of ways. I just have to keep dropping it. I have to keep at something, keep something going. No. Why bother? Why keep anything going that isn't real? Why put effort and struggle into something that on direct evidence isn't real anyway? If I realized I was wearing a virtual reality helmet, I wouldn't keep plugging it in and charging it up. I'd probably just take it off. It's not real. But see, we can see this, we can look into this and see in our direct experience that this sense of being a languaged person or a contracted person or a separate person of any kind, we can see what that actually means in our direct noticing of right here. See, there's so many different words that we can churn out about all this stuff. But what good are they, really? When you look at what words are, what language is, you see how feeble they are. It's just a little vibration that kind of goes, and it's over. This word, this word, this word. We don't notice the space between these vibrations in space, which are actually the same space. So it's looking in. You can look in right now. It's sort of turning the attention upon itself. And so what? I mean, that may sound like a practice. There may be practices. There may be little tricks, little pointers that seem effective. Anything can go. Anything goes here. Because what you are allows all of it anyway. Practicing, no practicing, the debate, all the non-duality police, or the rioters, you know, all of that stuff can just go on. If you see what you are, it won't matter anyway. It won't be a big deal if all this stuff is happening or not. I mean, who literally cares about the important fine points of non-duality? Is there a high council somewhere that's gonna sort of rain down their rule of law if someone doesn't speak about this correctly? No, everyone is the one authority for themselves. So there's no central governing body, there's no rules. That's why this is like an anarchy in a way. It's a peaceful anarchy. Because when people see that there's no need for exterior sources to confirm who they are, then they'll stop making war. They'll stop trying to get something and disprove other people. Because everyone will see that they're whole and complete as what they are right now. So the whole jig is up. There's no need for further happenings that imply separation, you could say. So there's no need to continually reaffirm this false sense of separation. And so the violence and the competition and all that ugly stuff tends to sort of die down because there's no one upholding it anymore. There's no one that needs to keep it going for their illusory benefit. You know, there's nothing else. There's only this one essence. So why would I feel the need to take something if I don't even know where the separation is? I don't know where this boundary is of separation. So how can I bring myself to harm another if the other's otherness isn't quite so othery after all? So just the seeing of what we are, it's simple, pristine awareness right here. It's here as what's happening. It's not as though it's here off in the corner and somehow creating what's happening by pulling some strings. It's here as this guy waving his arms. It's here as this computer. It's here as that which notices prior to anything happening. It is what's happening. It isn't an it. It isn't an it. It isn't is. It's just... it's all too much, as you can probably tell. I'm too much. I as an entity is too much for this. This doesn't need an I or a me. It's far too real and primal for that. This is crazy stuff. How did I get into this? You know, why don't I just go outside and have fun? Just enjoy life. That's what I wanted anyway. But this is it too, right? This is part of life, enjoying life. So we don't need anyone. We are only one. So I wouldn't worry. Or find out who's worried, you know, either way, whatever. It's all good if you see what you are. So just look and see. And thanks a lot for listening.